Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're here to talk about Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, and I want to tell you something very important right away. In this video we won't be making simple guesses or random theories. We will analyze real news, official clues, and concrete signals that help us understand why the final trailer for Chapter 5 is coming. However, I want to clarify something immediately to avoid any misunderstandings. I am not saying that the trailer will be released today, tomorrow, or in the next few days. But there are some very interesting elements that suggest it could arrive sooner than many people expect, and most importantly, that we have entered a very specific phase of development and communication from Mob Entertainment. During this video, I will explain why this moment is so important, what has changed compared to previous months, and which official details indicate that the road toward the final trailer has already begun. Some of these clues come directly from the way the team has communicated in the past, while others are connected to very precise patterns that we have already seen in previous chapters. Additionally, later in the video, we will also analyze a very interesting observation made by one of you in the comments. In my opinion, it truly deserves attention because it connects perfectly to the trailer release pattern that was used for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. When I read this observation, I stopped and thought about it, and I can tell you that the connection is anything but random. So get ready, because we will put all the pieces together. Official clues, timelines, team communication, and community analysis, to try to understand where we really are and what we might expect in the near future. Before we begin though, as always, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like because it helps the channel grow a lot, and subscribe so you don't miss any news, theories, and updates about Poppy Playtime and the horror world in general. With that said, let's get started right now. Now, let's see why the final trailer could arrive sooner than we might imagine. And to understand this, we need to do something fundamental. Go directly to the source. In this part of the video, in fact, we won't be talking about fan theories or personal interpretations, but we'll focus exclusively on official statements released by Mob Entertainment. As we already saw in yesterday's video, Mob Entertainment published a very important post in which they stated that Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is on the horizon. This phrase was not written by a leaker, it's not a community comment, and it's not a fan speculation. These are the exact words used directly by the development team. And when a studio uses an expression like this, especially during the final phase of a chapter's communication, it is never by chance. Saying that a chapter is on the horizon means that we are no longer in a distant or undefined phase, but that the project has entered a much closer time window to release. If Chapter 5 is on the horizon, then by consequence the final trailer is as well, because the trailer has always had a very specific role, preparing the audience for the imminent release of the game and announcing the release date. We just need to look at what happened in previous chapters to understand this. In Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, the final trailer was always released just a few days before the official launch of the game, on average about 1 week before. This is not an isolated case, but a pattern that has repeated multiple times and that we can now consider a real signature of their communication style. So, by putting all these elements together, the picture becomes very clear. If Mob Entertainment is openly telling us that Chapter 5 is on the horizon, then it means we are approaching exactly that time window where the final trailer starts to make sense. It would make no sense to talk about the horizon if we were still months away, especially knowing how the team has always managed hype and final reveals. And that's why I say that the final trailer could arrive sooner than we might imagine. Not because we want it to happen, not because we hope for it, but because the official signals and the history of previous chapters all point in the same direction. Now let's connect to another possible piece of this puzzle, namely the hypothetical date of the 15th of February 2026. A date that in recent weeks has generated a lot of discussion within the community. A few weeks ago, I published a video in which I showed how the runes present in the Christmas artwork could be hiding this exact date, the 15th of February 2026. Before that, however, it is essential to clarify something very important, because on this point, I want to be absolutely clear and correct. This theory did not originate from me, but from one of my subscribers named Nessina Meta. I simply decided to bring it to the channel, analyze it together with you, and above all, publicly thank the person who discovered it. Unfortunately, a few days later, another channel took this theory and republished it without mentioning either me or, most importantly, the person who actually discovered it. And I want to say this very clearly. For me, it is not a problem if someone talks about the same theories I cover in my videos. Theories are meant to be discussed, shared, and analyzed by everyone. However, there is one fundamental thing that should never be missing: the credits. Giving proper credit to those who had the idea or made the discovery is a matter of fairness, not ego. Stealing a theory without giving credit is disrespectful. So remember this very clearly. This date was not discovered by that YouTuber, but by one of you, Nesina Meta. That said, let's go back to talking about the date itself. The 15th of February 2026 obviously remains a purely theoretical date. Some have hypothesized that it could be the release date of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, but personally I do not agree with this interpretation. And the reason is very simple. Mob Entertainment has never hidden the release dates of the games inside artworks. It has never been their way of communicating. However, this does not mean that the date is meaningless. On the contrary, this is where a much more interesting hypothesis comes into play, and in my opinion, also one that is much more consistent with their style. If this date does not represent the release of the game, then it could represent something else that is fundamental, such as the date of the final trailer. And this is where the connection becomes truly intriguing. If the chapter is on the horizon, as MOB Entertainment has officially stated, and if we are close to that time window in which the final trailer is usually released, then a symbolic date hidden in an artwork would make perfect sense. Not as a direct confirmation, but as a subtle hint, left there for those who love to observe every single detail. So, without taking anything as absolute certainty, this date might not tell us when we will play Chapter 5, but when the real countdown will truly begin. Now I want to analyze a very interesting observation made by one of you, because in my opinion, it really deserves attention and perfectly fits everything we are discussing in this video. The observation was made by Aryan Edits, so I'm putting his comment on screen right now, and I want to personally thank him for sharing this detail with the community. A few days ago, Amber published a post showing some circles with 3 very specific colors: blue, red, and yellow. If we go back in time and connect this to what happened last year, we can notice a very interesting parallel. Back then, Mob Entertainment published circles with the colors red, orange, and yellow. Only later did we discover that those colors represented the hands on Doe the Doeman's belly. So they were, in every sense, a hidden visual teaser, anticipating a key detail of a major character. If Mob Entertainment has already used the exact same method in the past, then it is more than fair to think that they are doing the same thing again this year. As a result, the blue, red, and yellow colors might not be random at all, but could represent the colors connected to the major character of this chapter, which in this case would be the prototype. On top of that, this theory perfectly connects to what we already analyzed just yesterday, because we have seen how these colors have already been linked to the prototype multiple times. Thank you so much for watching the video until the end. You are amazing. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.